Hello, my name is Emily Bunton and I am a sophomore at Appalachian State University. This is a presentation on digital currency issues. Thank you all for taking the time to watch and listen to my presentation. The origin and history of currency goes as follows. In 1787, the Constitution gave Congress the power to create and regulate money. In 1862, the U.S. issued first paper money not connected to the gold standard. In 1913, the Federal Reserve was established. In 1934, the Securities and Exchange Commission was established from the Securities Exchange Act, and from 1998 to 2000, the Internet took off, creating the demand for digital money. The recent history of digital currency also goes as follows. There was a creation of Second Life, an internet game with its own virtual currency called Linden Dollars, in 2003. In 2007, the IRS started examining the economy and virtual games for tax compliance issues. In 2009, a mysterious person or group, a pseudonym if you will, Satoshi Nakamoto, created Bitcoin. Bitcoin was designed to reduce transaction costs and allowed users to work together to validate transactions by creating a public record of the chain of custody of each Bitcoin. It can be used to purchase items online, and some retail establishments have begun accepting Bitcoin in exchange for gift cards or other purchases. A pro of digital currency. This was found on CQ Researcher, is a quote by Jeremy Allaire, the CEO of the Circle Internet Financial Incorporated. The combination of ubiquitous internet-connected mobile devices and digital currency presents a tremendous opportunity to radically expand access to financial services on a worldwide basis. His four pros were that it's a continued and broad-based adoption of the internet, there's been advances in distributed and peer-to-peer computing, there's advances in cryptography and digital signature technology, and it's accelerating the globalization of trade. Some of the cons of digital currencies. These are more easy to come by. This quote is by Edward W. Lowry III, Special Agent in Charge, the Criminal Investigative Division, U.S. Secret Service, and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. The growing criminal use of digital currencies challenges the effectiveness of U.S. laws and regulations intended to limit the ability of criminals to profit from their illicit activities and move their criminal proceeds. The criminals prefer, in these websites, the greatest degree of anonymity, the ability to quickly and confidently move illicit proceeds from one country to another, low volatility, and widespread adoption in the criminal underground. Some of these trending legal issues of recent occurrences. The FBI shut down the Silk Road 2.0 in 2013. After doing my research, there's now a Silk Road website 3.0 that the FBI is currently working to shut down. There's been an increase in the market size of Bitcoin, and there's also been an acceptance and investment of Bitcoin by many online companies. One that I found was Overstock.com. I also found two court cases that have been recent in 2013, the SEC versus Shavers and the U.S. versus Albright. The SEC versus Shavers was filed August 6, 2013. The matter at hand was, does the court have subject matter jurisdiction over the action? This deals with the Securities Act of 1933 and the Exchange Act of 1934. Shavers challenged the court's subject matter jurisdiction over this case. Shavers was the founder and operator of Bitcoin Savings and Trust, BTCST. He offered investors up to 1% interest daily for buying his Bitcoins, but he obtained at least 700,467 Bitcoin principal, which equals about $4,592,806 US. His investors, because of his money laundering, had a net loss of 263,104 Bitcoin principal, which equals about $1,834,333 US. Some questions that arose in this case were, are the BTCST investments defined as securities under the federal securities laws? Do the BTCST investments constitute an investment of money? Is BTCST a form of common enterprise? And was there an expectation that profits would be derived from the efforts of the promoter? The ruling was that the SEC and the court decided that BTCST investments were securities, they did constitute a money investment, there was a common enterprise, and that the investors were definitely expecting profits from Schaeffer's efforts. The court found that it had subject matter jurisdiction. The United States v. Albright case was filed October 24, 2013. This matter at hand was there was a verified complaint that's seeking forfeiture of defendants in rem. Albright was the defendant in personam. The defendants in rem were stated as any and all assets of Silk Road, including but not limited to the Silk Road hidden website and any and all bitcoins contained in wallet files residing on the Silk Road servers, including the servers assigned to the following Internet Protocol addresses. Ross William Albright owned and operated the Silk Road hidden website. He engaged in money laundering, which was hundreds of millions of dollars derived from unlawful transactions. This website, before it was shut down, earned $1.2 billion in revenue and $80 million in commission. On October 1, 2013, the court authorized the United States to seize all bitcoins contained in wallet files and all computer hardware belonging to him, which he was arrested. The ruling was that the U.S. was authorized to seize subject bitcoins by transferring all wallet file balances to bitcoin addresses controlled by the U.S., and the court had an NREM jurisdiction over the subject bitcoins. The main legal issue I focused on was the U.S. versus Fiala case, which was filed January 24, 2013. Robert M. Fiala and Charlie Shrem were the defendants. They were both charged with operating an unlicensed money transmitting business. Robert Fiala was charged with money laundering conspiracy, they both were, and Charlie Shrem was also charged with willful failure to file suspicious activity report. The progression of this case was basically, Fiala ran a Bitcoin exchange on the Silk Road website, and he found a company in New York that allowed him to exchange cash for Bitcoins anonymously. He obtained these coins and sold them for a higher price on the Silk Road. Shrem was in charge of ensuring the company with compliance with anti-money laundering laws. Even though he was aware that the Silk Road was a drug trafficking website and that Fiala was running a Bitcoin exchange service, he conspired to conduct this operation through the company because of the large sums of money the company received from his business. He also gave Fiala discounts on large orders and failed to file suspicious activity reports about him. He deliberately helped him bypass the anti-money laundering acts, and together they exchanged over $1 million in cash for bitcoins. Why did I choose this topic? My discipline is finance and banking, and I figured that this topic really joins together finance and banking and business law. Because of my major, I find money laundering cases, embezzlement cases, fraud cases very intriguing. I also found through my research these three main court cases to focus on, which I've already talked about. The government stands on Bitcoin and virtual currencies. The Internal Revenue Service believes Bitcoin does not have legal tender status in any jurisdiction. They also said that wages can be paid via virtual currency, but they must be reported by an employer on W-2 forms. The Securities and Exchange Commission, Bitcoins may have a heightened risk of fraud, investment returns are not guaranteed, unlicensed sellers equal a higher possibility of fraud, and a scammer may try to create false sense of urgency to get your money faster. The notes from the Administrative and Regulatory Law News, this was a law review that I found in my research. The Bitcoin is sometimes called Gold 2.0. Many federal regulatory agencies have taken action, such as the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the Department of the Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Justice, and the Federal Election Commission and the Internal Revenue Service. Bitcoin does not have an equivalent counterpart, and it is intriguing because of the ability to move funds quickly, cheaply, and privately. My opinion, Bitcoin seems very unreliable. It relates to the newer form of virtual currency, Snapcash, which I was pretty suspicious of when it first came out, which I will never use. Numerous amounts of criminal cases involving money laundering and loss should be a warning. Scammers will also find a way around laws if they try hard enough. My conclusion is as follows. Bitcoins are probably bad and you shouldn't use them. My reference list. Thank you for watching my presentation. Have a great day.